Welcome to a channel that takes you to a better life. Planning to start a new project is one of the biggest challenges facing entrepreneurs, especially beginners or those embarking on their first adventure by opening a small business. Also, making the decision to become an entrepreneur instead of job security is not easy, as this sudden leap is fraught with risks and requires making sacrifices. As long as you are browsing this article, you have decided to create your own project, so we will be keen to provide you with basic information and valuable advice to achieve success. We have prepared this guide to accompany you through all stages of starting a project, from defining the idea to registering it legally and searching for partners to obtain financing. Defining a project is defined as a work carried out by an individual to implement a specific idea, whether it is a product or a service, and the project uses some major resources to implement this idea, such as financial resources, knowledge, and staff. The project also provides a service. That is, it solves a societal problem, and that is in exchange for something material. Examples of service projects include providing a means of transportation in areas whose residents need this service, and there are many examples of productive projects, including the bakery, which provides bread products to a beneficiary group, and there are many ideas and projects that benefit the individual and society, whether they are of value or need. Service, or to be of economic benefit to the individual and society. Project stages: the project identification stage, and at this stage the project idea is created and developed, as the idea of the project often stems from a need in general, and it is normal to reach a number of ideas that are filtered to reach the good ones, which are easy to implement on the ground. The project preparation stage, and at this stage the general framework of the project is set, and here we come to what is called the feasibility study, which in turn is divided into the market and marketing study, the technical study, study the administrative and organizational structure, profitable or financial study, the project implementation stage. At this stage, the project is implemented and supervised, and what has been implemented is recorded. The project evaluation stage. The project is evaluated during implementation to compare the current situation with the course of the project. The evaluation is also done after implementation to compare the final results and the extent to which the project has reached these results. Steps to start a small and profitable business from scratch at the lowest cost. 1. Choosing the right idea. Ideas are the sum of the factors that an individual acquires in his life, from life itself as long as he is still alive, and a person is nothing but a group of a series of ideas that turn into human behavior, and from which the human personality crystallizes. So by crystallizing these ideas his personality crystallizes. Ideas depend on those generators that the mind performs when receiving an event, where the event is crystallized in the subconscious into a loose idea that is neglected in the subconscious until a new idea or a specific event is generated that shows it in its new dress, and the human being is only a group of ideas that control in his behavior and actions. And analytical psychology is based on the principle of practical analysis of the psychological ideas acquired in the psychological and traumatic event, through which the idea that generates psychological tension is identified and in which psychotherapy is carried out. Knowing that the mind and the heart can be synonymous in meaning, and thoughts are the mixture of feelings between the heart and the mind. The power of an idea that can affect a person's life depends on the principle of actual experience in an individual's life. Ideas are divided into behavioral ideas and psychological ideas, that is, ideas that affect an individual's life. As for the ideas that affect a person's life, they are those ideas that are generated as a result of the individual's acquisition of a set of experiences. Emotional experiences in his working life. As for the psychological experiences that turn into mental illness, they are those thoughts that can sometimes overwhelm an individual's life, turning him into a mental patient. The project idea will not appear out of nowhere, but it is natural for you to draw it from your professional field or following successful initiatives in your surroundings. It is preferable to choose the idea in a field that falls within the scope of your passion or in which you have professional experience, as this guarantees that you will reduce the margin of risk and quickly accumulate experience. Also, avoid copying other people's ideas just because they are successful, as this is a mistake that most beginners make. The success of the project is not determined by the idea or the addition it presents, but is controlled by several other factors, the most important of which are the business plan, marketing, and good management. Finally, the financial data must be taken into account, because the idea of the project must be commensurate with the value of the approved capital. If you are planning to launch the project as an additional source of income and work for only a few hours, I advise you to browse the previous guide on the best successful and profitable business ideas from home. 2. Market study. Now that you have the idea of the project, it is time to study the feasibility and check the opportunities available in the market. A successful entrepreneur spends enough time tracking competitors and popular products in the market, thus shortening the time to reach the ideal recipe for launching the project. Knowledge is power, so it is necessary to accurately collect data on the target customer group, which includes the average age, social status, and income level. Market study enables you to design a product or provide services in line with customer orientations, thus avoiding investing in projects that have no demand. Data helps you design a good product and put it up for sale at a reasonable price to customers, while adding a new touch in the case of investing in saturated and classic projects such as restaurants, cafes, groceries, and others. 3. Develop an action plan. Most small projects fail because they were born with mistakes and were not studied well. The enthusiasm that possesses beginners often leads them to make huge mistakes. Having a formal business plan will help you. Organizing the stages of project development, determine priorities and basic expenses, setting goals and growth strategies, reducing the margin of risk, convincing the partners of the feasibility of investing in the project. It is also a good idea to develop a safe exit plan to deal with the failure of the project, as it does not necessarily achieve success as indicated. It will also relieve you of pressure and give you confidence, and thus work towards the success of the project in better conditions. If you are planning to work online from home, you must take note of the most prominent available opportunities, which we have reviewed with details in our guide to the best online projects. 4. Thinking about financing solutions. Bringing the project idea into practice requires having a specific budget, which can be secured from personal savings, contracting with partners, or obtaining loans. The most suitable option for financing depends mainly on the owner's experience, equipment costs, and the nature of the project's work. Also, financing the project by 100% of private money is not a good idea, especially when there is a lack of experience in the field and the existence of a large margin of loss. Remember that your lack of liquidity may cause the business to fail, and it will also leave you at the mercy of the huge interest of urgent loans. Banks are willing to offer lower interest rate loans when partially financing projects, and also entering into project partners greatly reduces the margin of personal loss. I would also like to point out that launching a small project does not always require the availability of capital, as many contribute only by sharing experience and sacrificing their time to manage the project, while the rest of the partners bear the operating costs. The idea is good and can be documented legally by concluding a partnership contract between two parties, the first with capital and the second with expertise, effort, which guarantees the rights of both parties and the sharing of profits. 5. Building a distinctive brand. Everyone notices that most small entrepreneurs neglect the issue of branding, so it is natural to notice a similarity between most of the designs for the faces and logos of the shops. Brand is more than just a logo or billboard. It actually embodies the identity of the project and how others see it. The brand is the secret behind gaining the trust of customers and investors alike, which explains the continuation of some companies for decades despite going through severe financial stumbling blocks. For more information on how to build a strong and influential brand, we invite you to read the separate article on how to create a brand from scratch. There is a second part to list 10 steps to start a profitable small business from scratch with minimal cost. Thanks for watching.